Everyone has a vision, a future they imagine when the world is quiet and their mind is free to wander. Some see themselves running companies, some living on their own terms, some standing on a stage, or finally feeling peace inside their skin. Vision is the soul's attempt to remind you of your potential. It's a picture of what life could be if everything aligned just right. And for a moment, that image can feel more real than the life you're actually living. But that feeling fades. Reality rushes back in. And the world doesn't change just because you imagined something better. That's where most people get stuck, at the gap between their vision and their reality. And they assume, wrongly, that their dream is too big, or that maybe they don't have what it takes. But the problem isn't the dream. The problem is what's missing in the middle. Discipline. Not motivation, not luck, not timing. Discipline. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. It is the invisible force that takes vague dreams and turns them into tangible results. Without it, vision becomes a form of torment. Because now you've seen what's possible, but you're not doing what's necessary to get there. That gap creates internal friction. The longer you ignore it, the heavier it becomes. You carry that weight into every day, every decision, every quiet moment. And it starts to wear you down from the inside out. The mistake we make is thinking that clarity is everything, that once we find our purpose, everything will click. But you don't rise to the level of your vision, you fall to the level of your habits, and those habits are governed by discipline. You can have the clearest vision in the world, but if your habits betray your goals, you will always live in conflict. The truth is, nothing changes until your discipline becomes stronger than your desire to escape discomfort. And discomfort shows up in every meaningful pursuit, in the form of early mornings, long nights, unglamorous repetitions, sacrifices that no one sees, and choices that feel unnatural at first. Discipline asks you to choose the thing that builds your future instead of the thing that soothes your present. It's not flashy, it's not sexy, it rarely gets applause, but it always gets results. Before we move on, if you like these videos and find them helpful, can you do me a favor and like this video and subscribe to my channel? This small action helps me a lot, but most importantly helps other people improve their lives. I am truly grateful to every single one of you. Thank you. Let's move on. Vision can feel limitless. Discipline is very practical. It's waking up when you said you would. It's finishing what you started. It's showing up on the days when no one would blame you for skipping. Vision inspires. Discipline transforms. One lifts your mood. The other rewires your mind. And in the end, transformation is what you're really after. What makes discipline so rare is that it runs against human nature. Our instincts are wired for survival, not greatness. The brain is designed to avoid pain and seek pleasure. That's why we procrastinate, scroll, overthink, and quit. But discipline is the conscious override of that wiring. It's the manual switch that says, I know what I want more than I know what I feel. It's choosing alignment over ease, depth over distraction, substance over style. And here's the thing, discipline creates evidence. Every act of discipline is a deposit into your self-belief. Every time you do what you said you'd do, especially when it's hard, you build trust in yourself. And that trust becomes a foundation, a sense of inner stability. You stop needing external validation because you've built internal credibility. And with that comes momentum. Momentum is what separates those who dream from those who build. It starts small, maybe just waking up when the alarm rings, finishing a task, following through on a promise. But with repetition, that small act becomes a pattern. That pattern becomes an identity. And soon you no longer have to force discipline, it becomes part of who you are. You become the type of person who follows through, who shows up, who keeps moving forward regardless of how they feel. That identity shift is powerful because it creates long-term resilience. Vision can excite you, but it can also overwhelm you. It shows you the mountain but not the steps. Discipline, on the other hand, teaches you to take one step every day no matter how far the peak seems. And eventually, you look back and realize you've climbed further than you thought possible, not because you had the best plan, but because you refused to stop. People often ask, how do I stay motivated? But that's the wrong question. Motivation is fleeting. Discipline is stable. Motivation depends on circumstances. Discipline depends on commitment. The real question is, can you train yourself to act regardless of how you feel? Because if you can do that, there's no dream too big, no goal too distant. You stop waiting for ideal conditions and start creating consistent effort. And over time, effort beats everything. Discipline also simplifies your life. Vision can be loud, filled with a million possibilities, pathways, and temptations. But discipline narrows your focus. It makes your decisions easier. You know what matters, and you stop negotiating with distractions. You stop bouncing between strategies and start executing the basics. While others chase shortcuts, you're stacking wins. Quietly, daily. This kind of lifestyle doesn't look glamorous on the outside, but it feels deeply rewarding. Because you stop chasing dopamine hits and start collecting fulfillment. Fulfillment from progress, from knowing you honored your word, from seeing actual change. You start sleeping better, thinking clearer, living with more energy. Because discipline brings order, and order brings peace. You also begin to attract different opportunities. When you're disciplined, people notice, even if they can't explain why. They trust you more, rely on you. You become the person who gets things done, and opportunities follow reliability, not noise, not excitement, reliability. That's what discipline makes you. Reliable to others, but more importantly, reliable to yourself. And once you reach that level, your vision becomes unstoppable. Not because it got bigger, but because you built the internal structure to carry it. Without discipline, big dreams become burdens. With discipline, they become blueprints. You no longer question whether you'll get there. The only question is when. Because now you trust your process. It's time we stop glamorizing the start and start respecting the stay. It's easy to get excited about a goal, it's harder to keep showing up for it. But that's where greatness lives, in the repetition, the grind, the unsexy moments of silent progress. The world doesn't reward the most inspired, it rewards the most consistent. And that consistency is born from discipline. If you really want to live differently, feel differently, succeed differently, don't ask yourself what you want. Ask yourself what you're willing to do every single day without applause, without recognition, without needing it to feel good all the time. Because that's what shapes your future. Not the dream itself, but the discipline behind it. So let the vision guide you, but let discipline lead you. Let it shape your mornings, your choices, your mindset. Let it become your silent ally, the force that pushes you when everything else tells you to stop. Because the truth is, your life won't change when you dream bigger. It will change when you do better, consistently. Discipline is more important than vision, because vision without discipline is just a wish. But discipline, even without perfect vision, still gets you there. And when you finally arrive at the life you once imagined, you'll know deep down, it wasn't because you had a dream. It was because you had the strength to follow through. If you made it until here, leave a mind emoji in the comments. I want to see how many of you reach the end and finish what they start. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and keep improving day by day. Together, we are unstoppable.